Hello guys, my name is Patrick Mensah, and today I am going to talk about how to import and export all kinds or types of data in our programming. So in order to import or export all types of data in our programming, you have to set your working directory to where your data is located, because if your data is not located on a particular place, it will be very difficult to, import the data into our programming. So for example, here, if we have to, I use this code to set my working directory. So I just use this and then set my working directory. So if you want to know where your data is located, you use this code getWD to identify your working directory. So you look at it and then it tells you that this is where my data is located. Now, a simple way to make sure your data is located where your data is located, or to set your working directory, is to go to the section, then you go to setting working directory, then you go to the choose directly. So after that, then something is going to pop up. Then here it tells you where my data is located. So you just go there. Mine is on the desktop. Okay, so you go to desktop, then you go to our programming, then you go to data, then you see this is where my data is located. And then you click on this and it's going to show everything over here. So that is where my data is located. If you want to do that, as I said, you use the getW, and then it tells you where your data is located right now. So now let's look at now, if you want to import your data, for some reasons, we will have to use Pacman, and Pacman is one of the packages that will help you to organize all your library in a single line. So this code is to, in a way, you can use only this code, the install packages Pacman, to do that. But if you already have Pacman on it, then this code will help you to not install any Pacman again. So when you use that, and then this code too will install RIO. But if you already have RIO to it, this code is going to make sure that you don't install it again. And the same to tidyverse. And then this code helps you to organize all. This code with the Pacman helps you to organize all your packages, like reading it. Like for example, if you want to load a package, you have to call the library, and then you do that. So this Pacman will help you. This code will help you to do everything. Now let's look at how everything is done over here. So we do that. Then we run this one. Run this, and then we can. Okay, so this one, it loads everything, and then let's say we use the Pacman code to load everything over here. Now everything is loaded. So now you can see that all the information here, it's loaded. Now let's look at, so here you said Pacman is used in loading and unloading packages. Yeah, that's fine. And then here the RIO is used for importing data. That is when we use the imports. Also, the tidyverse is used for so many things. The dplyr, the table, the ggplots, the readout, the forecast, the power. It helps in so many ways. So now let's look at how we import an XDS, or a text data file. So in a text data file, we use the read.delem. So the read.delem will read a text delimited file. So the read.delem, and then the airplane here is telling you the name of the text file. And then the header here, if it is true, it tells you that the headings or the column names are there. And then this one is the separated. How is the data separated? It's separated by comma. So we should know that this text file is already in our working directory. So we click on this, and then we have to view it. So let's use the view function to view the airplane data. So now you can see that our data is here. Now we have V1, V2, V3. This is because the code here, the header is false. In the original data, there is no heading. So that is why I use the false. But if there were headings, I would have used true so that it will cover the headings. But because it is that, we would just use the false. And then if it is false, now we can use another function to name all the columns. Let's look, as time goes on, you will know how to do that. Now let's look at another way of reading a text data. The same text delimited file, we have this function called read.table. And then I have already explained this one. So let's look at this airplane 2, and then we read that data to, it also gives you the same thing. That is so nice. Now, let's look at another way. Another way is by using the file.choose. And here, automatically, it tells you where the file is located. Then you go and then select it from the computer. Now, let's look at how it is done. We do that, and this thing pops up. So when it pops up, then you go and look at your data. You are looking at the airplane data. So you click on the airplane data, then you click OK. So after that, then we use the view function to view the airplane data, and it shows everything here. So nice. Now let's look at how to read CSV file in our programming. If you want to use read CSV file, okay, let's say our data set is called Diamond, and it is located in our working directory. So we use this read.csv, and then the header is true. The header is true because already there are headings over there. You see that in the previous one, we used false because there was no heading. Now the header is true because there are already column names for that. So now let's look at how to do that. We use this function to read it, and then we use a view function to look at it. It shows everything here so nice. Have you seen it? So nice. Now, if you have this data, you can do whatever you want to do with it. But this lesson is just to know how to import the data. Now, if you want to, this is another way, the read.table. This is also very good. Here, this is the name of the data, the diamonds.csv, and then it's separated by what? Comma, and then the header is also true. So now we can also view it over here, and then we view it. It also shows you everything so nice, the same way. So though we have different functions, but it is actually the same way. Now let's look at another way. Another way is by using the read.r, of which I think we have already done that. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. We can just run it. If the read.r is already installed, it will skip this process, and you see it will just skip it because read.r is already installed in my computer. If your computer if you don't have the read.r, the best thing is to use install packages read.r to read it. Now let's look at how to read it. So we read under CSV. So and then one reason why read under CSV is good is that this is the faster version of read.table. So in here we have read.table, right? But sometimes when your data is very huge or something like that, it becomes a little slow because this is a computer. But when you use the read underscore CSV, it is very, very good. So most of the time I use read underscore CSV to read my files, and it becomes very, very quick. So let's read it. And then we view it. and everything is just very, very fast. So now let's look at how we use the import function. The import function, that is here. Here we have the Excel files. So for example, when you have xlsx files, we have ways of reading the data. Now the raw data is already installed, but anyway, I just brought it here, so we can run it, and then it shows over here. So now we are using the import data, and we know that the import data is controlled by the raw library. So the raw library here is supporting the import function, and this is where this is our the data in the working directory. So you can use this, and then you run it. Then we use the view function to view the data, and it shows everything here. So nice. Everything is here. You can do whatever thing you want to do with it. As time goes on, we will explore this data. Now, another way is by using the read Excel function. I mean, here, I think if we use this function as we have been always using it to call for it or install it if it is. So if you use this function, if the function is already installed on the computer, it will skip it. If it is not installed, then it will install the read Excel function. So we do that. Here it tells you that once it is skipped, then it means that it is already installed on my computer. This is because I've been always using it. And then the library is just by calling the name. It's just I just did it. This one, if you do it, I think it's okay. But anyway, we have to call it when you call the function. Yes. So this one is just for the installation, and then this one is for the calling data. If you don't call it, then we are going to have a problem. So after you call it, all this read underscore Excel, they are all functions within this library. So we call it, and then review it, the state data. Look, everything is here. Very, 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 very nice. So you can do everything you want to do with the data. Now, let's look at how to read data from the internet. So for example, if you have data from the internet, you want to read it directly. So I think for this one, you need an internet connection, because this arrow is a powerful software. It has the ability to read information from the internet, but you have to have a connection in order to do that. So that is what I believe. So here we can call for the tidyverse. The tidyverse, I have already explained that. The rail is I have already called for it. That's why there's no need to call for it again. Anyway, it's still there. So we do that. Now we use the rail. The import is the rail is controlling the imports. So I just brought it so that you will know what is doing over here. So we call this data. Now anytime you call the data, it comes here. You see that it's already here for the source observation in 4 variables. So I mean, I just click it, but anyway, now we view it with a view. So now you can see that it doesn't have column names. The data from the internet, it doesn't have column name. So for example, if we have this one, when maybe, for example, you want to do a multiple regression analysis or a linear regression analysis, let's say we use this as our independent variable, then this one is a dependent variable 1, dependent variable 2, dependent variable 3. So this one, if you want to rename the columns, this is for those who are I did this just because for those who are a little novice in our programming. So this names data. So this data here is the data I called over here. So now this one names data 1 here is equal to y is renaming the first column to Y. So this first column here to Y, and then this one to X1, this one to X2, this one to X3. So we can run all of this. So we run this, and then now let's view it. This is because I have changed all the names. So we view it, and then now look at how it is done. Very, very, very nicely. So now if you want to do a regression analysis, it is so easy to do this. So this is very, very nice. Anyway, we still have we can have a simple line to name all of these columns, but this is not the purpose of this video. As time goes on, I will show you how to do that. Now let's look at another way. Another way is because you are using the tables. I have already called it over here, but let me just call it again. So we call for this library. There is no need to call for the library almost all the time, but anyway, I just brought it. So let's say we have a data, and this is the website where the data is located. Anyway, I went to the NJIT. That is why you can see NJIT over here. So now we have the data over here. So it is read from the internet, and you review it. Now you see that on the internet, right? They wrote all this thing as a heading, but this one, it's not how it's supposed to be. You see that it's bringing all these NA values, but we need only this column and then this column. We need only these two columns. So the best thing you have to do is to just select these columns, and then this one is called the GPA, and then this one is called the ACT score. So with this one, you just use the table, you call it as table. I will show you how to do that as time goes on. We use the as table function, and then you select only the first two columns. So we use this one as pipe. This is called piping. This percentage sign greater than percentage sign is called piping. So it is done in order to pipe through the data and then select so for example, this line is saying that we are creating a new variable called GPA, and it should go through the GPA data here, and then as that convert it as table. We know as this one, and then now it should pipe through. It should pipe through and then select the first column and then the second column. So we look at it over here, and then it's selecting the first column and the second column. Look at it. So nice. Now you see that from the previous data, which is this one, you can see that no, it's I think from the previous data we saw so many things, but here we are just getting only the first two columns. Now we want to change these names to is a GPA and then ACT, of which I have already showed you how to do that over here. So this one, the names of the GPA for the first column. So this one is changing the name of the first column to GPA, and then this one is changing the name of the second column to ACT. So you run this one, and then you run this code too, then you run this, and it shows you here GPA, ACT, and this is so nice. Now, if you want to do like, let's say regression analysis, this is very, very easy. Then you just go ahead with your code, and then you keep running them. Now, let's look at how we can now that we know how to import all kinds of data. Now, if you are working on them, now, for example, your boss wants you to, bring this data to him, convert it into an Excel form so that they can maybe, if they want to verify whether it's true or not, they want to use SPSS, Python, whatever to see to run the code to see whether they're going to get them. You have to export the data and then send it to your boss. Now you see that this data that we did, let me show you that data. It's here. Maybe you can't see it well, so let me just use the view function. The view function, and then call for the data. So it is right here. Very, very, very nice here. Now you want to export this data into CSV or an Excel form, we use this function called write.csv. So write.csv, then the data is, this is what we are talking about. And then this is how we want this data. But you should know that when you run it, it is going straight into our working directory. That is why it is very, very important to always set your working directory. So we use this function and then we run it and it automatically goes there. Now I will go ahead and show you how it is done, how it's showed over there. But let's continue to do this one. Then I'll go and show you. You know the Irish data, this Irish data. I told you the Irish data. I showed it to you already. If you have forgotten about it, let me just show it to you over here. I don't know whether you remember this Irish data. I'm trying to show you how. Okay, you remember this data in the previous video? Yes. Now, it is an inbuilt data. So now maybe your boss wants you to write it. You use this function, then you write it. Okay, for example, Irish data.csv. Then you just write it. If you want it in a text file to write, you use write and underscore delimited, and then the Irish, and then maybe, for example, you want it's supposed to be called Irish22 underscore file.txt. So the text delimited function, you use this code to do that. And then if you want to use the switch data, this is the switch data. If you want to write it into a text file, you use this function. You remember that from the previous video, the state data is already here. So many data is here. Now, if you want to write it, you use the write function to do that. And then the United States data. You remember, it show you all the states in America here. It show you everything. If you want to see it, you use the view function. You use the view, then state .77. Show you everything over here. So nice over here. So now if you want to write this data, this is an inbuilt data. So maybe, for example, you want to take it to either a SAS programming, those who are SAS programmers, those who are convenient with SPSS, you just write it over here. You use this function to write it, then you just send it to import it into SPSS, SAS, whatever, and then you run it. So everything is shown over here. If you want to know how it is, the data, let's look at the sample data that we have already run and see. So when you look at this, the United States data is already here. Let's open it. So you see the data we run. So now you can export it to where you want to do that. Let's look at the switch data. It's here. You open it. It's just here. Very, very nice. You want to do whatever you want to do with it. The Irish22 that we did is here. Everything is already here. So this is so nice. This is all about the video. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.